stuck through thick and thin, but I just can't believe what I'm hearing. We've been guilty so long, but this man's done no wrong, and you curse the one we should be.
Good morning, Pastor Larry here, August 22nd, and I'm glad you chose to join us here. Just a few thoughts from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2. The Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians had been pretty harsh on the church that he loved dearly. And though we view the church there at Corinth as a backslidden church, I don't know that they were as much a backslidden church as they had human beings a part of it, which makes for an occasional backsliding. And I believe that he was trying to correct some issues with this church, and in doing so, he came across somewhat harsh, and it obviously became known to him because he tried to respond to their reaction to his first letter with his second letter. And in chapter 2, he makes this statement beginning in verse number 1, "But I determined with myself that I would not come again to you in heaviness. For if I make you sorry, who is he then that maketh me glad? But the same which is made sorry by me." For in other words, what he's saying here, he's saying, I'm not coming to you harshly. I'm not intending for it to be taken that way, because you all make me happy with what you're doing, how you're serving the Lord. And I don't want you to come to get unhappy, because I'm expecting you to make me happy. Interesting thought. Verse number 3, "And I wrote this same unto you, lest when I came I should have sorrow from them of whom I ought to rejoice, having confidence in you all, that my joy is the joy of you all. For out of much affliction and anguish of heart I wrote unto you with many tears, not that ye should be grieved, but that ye might know the love which I have more abundantly unto you." The Apostle Paul here gives us a little snippet, a picture, if you will, of his heart, a pastor's heart. And it's difficult as a pastor, because our job entails us to sometimes express God's position, and in our attempt to express God's position, we sometimes carry a certain amount of emotion, and it is often misconstrued, like it was certainly in this case, as anger, wrath, maybe frustration from a pastor's perspective. But in reality, the pastor's heart so wants us to get what's being said, so wants us to understand the desire God has for us to live for Him, so desires for us to want to follow Jesus that we verbalize that, and sometimes we come across as angry. But I honestly wish that people would understand that a pastor's heart is really a soft thing. And the last thing we want to do, much like with children, last thing we ever want to do is punish them, but sometimes we have to. Sometimes we have to take a dogmatic, strict approach to dealing with an issue, dealing with our children, much as the case in the life of a pastor. We're put in an interesting, unique spot where we're to deal with a perfect God, speak from a perfect Bible to imperfect beings, with an imperfect being doing the speaking. So it puts us in an interesting light, and I hope that you'll understand that when your pastor comes to you, he's not coming from a heart of trying to order you around. He's trying to help us understand that God is worthy of us putting ourselves out a little bit just to please Him. I hope this was a help to you. It certainly encouraged my heart. God bless you.